According to the headline, so far, the new Vegas police team looking into Tupac's death has discovered bizarre evidence. Why is nobody taking action? Just in case you didn't catch it. Police interviews revealed that Tupac was an industrial facility entrusted with ending the competition between the red and blue street teams.
Well, it turns out when I talked to Tupac's longtime mentor, political mentor, former Black Panther Chokwe Lumumba, who was his first business manager, he's told me, I basically asked, well, was Tupac only pretending to be in order to appeal to gangs and politicize them? And he said yes. And that was part of his thug life agenda that he came up with his imprisoned stepfather, Tupac Shakur. And so Tupac was just using that in order to get the leaders to call peace truces, first in Los Angeles, then throughout California, and then throughout the country. And that was why he was pretending to be this type. And really, he was just an intellectual prodigy.
He died shortly after the plan failed in a very suspicious fashion, so the police kept looking and found a random rapper, Trey was interviewed about Tupac before a 2010 show. Previously, Trey and Tupac were friends and had worked together on a couple of albums together. But this is when things begin to take shape. Following Trey's interview, the videographer positioned his camera. When the reporter inquires about Tupac, in the video, Trey responds, "He was in Cuba the last time I saw him."
So if you ain't ready for it, get on the sidewalk.
One last question.
Nobody knows.
Y'all good? Yeah, we good. Thanks a lot, man.
Last time I saw him, he was in church.
Only 3 weeks later, a video allegedly showing Tupac lounging in a Cuban parking lot was posted on a news website.
That's Pac, man. He was the outlaw. And Reg from Holla Back is trying to be friendly and get autographed. Holla Back exclusive, baby. Holla Back.
Consequently, the notion that Tupac was still alive in Cuba lasted until 2025. However, as the police are now looking for an explanation, the news even stated that new developments are occurring in Tupac Shakur's murder case. Performers in the industry from Dogg, Diddy, and Snoop Knight are about to be arrested. It was likely this Snoop Dogg interview that led the feds to begin investigating his involvement.
You were with Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac. I heard a story, did you give him different advice that night on where to go?
I didn't give him no advice.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So.
Saying during the Tyson.
Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that.
Okay.
So when they got to Vegas, they went their way, I went back. I mean, when we got to LA, they went to Vegas and I went home. That's why I wasn't in the car with.
Contrary to popular belief, Snoop Dogg was highly involved in the streets 20 years ago. Following some last-minute changes, he suddenly decided not to go, even though he was supposed to be in the BMW with Tupac and Knight that evening. Tupac refused to get in the car because he knew he would be the target of an attack that evening. 2 days before his death, Snoop claimed in another interview that he thought Tupac didn't like him. The feds later found out about this.
I say a week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me.
Why?
Because we was in New York and it happened. New York, they shot at me and did all kind of shit to me, like just the worst you could think of. And I forgave him. And went and did an interview and was asked, how do I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I was like, I want to do some music with him. And that just rubbed Cuz the wrong way, like trying to me, out at you, and you talking about you want to do a song with him. I wasn't thinking about his emotions. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. I wasn't into no controversy. I liked his music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. This video footage of all of us hanging out.
Knight maintains that Tupac is still alive and doing well. Millions of followers would begin researching it as the internet went into overdrive, and they found 2 Knight interviews that were conducted 10 years apart. I don't see how somebody can go from doing well to doing badly, because Tupac and I were laughing and joking when I left that hospital, he says, implying that Tupac was doing well in the hospital before his alleged death.
When I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you this, Pac, you never.
The odd thing about this is that Knight claimed in an interview from 2008 that Tupac was still alive and well. If Tupac was supposedly in a coma, then how could he and Knight be laughing?
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital, he was conscious in the ambulance, he was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They left.
Just 2 weeks after revealing this knowledge in that interview, Knight was almost killed by a man who brandished a gun at him 6 times at a nightclub. Knight was hesitant to call the police though, since he immediately realized that talking about Tupac in public would likely lead to his kid making the same error in 2018. Knight Jr. announced on Instagram that Tupac was still alive and living in Malaysia. He posted another picture of a text message where the recipient said, "You said too much. It's time for you to go." Knight's son would post photos of Tupac among modern-day stars like Beyoncé and 50 Cent. When Knight Jr. saw the picture of him with Tupac and Beyoncé, he said, "He never left us. They'll be after me soon." It seemed like he was being pursued for sharing all of this information. Some believe that Knight Jr. would have more knowledge about this case, while others believe that it was all a publicity stunt to help Knight's son become more powerful. Is there anyone else in the world who has his father there? On September 7, 1996, Tupac and Knight, the head of his record label, traveled to Vegas to see a Mike Tyson fight at the MGM Grand. They saw an opening in the foyer following the game, which is described below.
Knight and their entourage went to the Mike Tyson, the MGM Grand. Keefe D and his nephew, Orlando Lane Anderson, and 2 of their friends were also there. Keefe D told LAPD Detective Greg Kading more than a decade ago in a proffer that couldn't be used against him. The thing was retaliation after Tupac jumped Orlando and up at the casino. Surveillance cameras recorded the fight. Tupac was angry that Lane had stolen his necklace years prior in Compton. Tupac, Suge Knight, and the entourage left the casino quickly.
After security broke up the altercation between Tupac, Knight, and the ops, Tupac and Knight went back to their hotel to change before attending a party at a club. They began their journey to the club at approximately 11 p.m., as described above.
Knew about Tupac's concert at the Club 662. Members, including Orlando and Keefe D, jumped in their white Cadillac and started cruising the strip looking for the offender. Before long, they finally spotted Tupac's caravan. At the intersection of East Flamingo Boulevard and Koval Lane, the white Cadillac pulled alongside the black BMW with Suge on the driver and Tupac on the passenger seats. The back window of the Cadillac rolled twice in the chest, once in the arm, once in the thigh.
Police investigated a concerning interview unsolved over a decade later. He explains how he located Tupac and pulled up on him in the interview.
And Bubble Up was the driver, and Baby Lane and Freaky were in the back seat.
We was just all in the car together.
Okay. This was the white Cadillac?
Yeah.
So you guys are driving around, and then you hear these girls say, "Tupac, Tupac."
Got to the light. We was supposed to go drink, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He was hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac?
Yeah, he was.
So what happens next? You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat.
According to Keefe D, Tupac was singled out because he was reaching for his gun when the other car stopped at a red light.
You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat, and you said that Tupac pulled out a...
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually...
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
So someone from your car
That's what happened.
started at Tupac and Suge.
T, prepared. Tupac knew something was coming, but he was not enough. Keefe D's police interrogation, on the other hand, was recently made public and was unprecedented.
You say Suge looks over, he sees you?
Yeah.
He looks right at you?
Yeah, he looked at me.
Okay. When he looks over at you, and then, Tupac's busy getting evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out of the
back seat or something.
Yeah, what do you see happening inside of their car?
I seen him going Suge head. I thought he was...
So Orlando start across Dre? He leaned over on the window, we rolled down the window.
In the course of their inquiry, the authorities also learned about Keffe D's response to Tupac's death, which shows his true thought.
Yeah, I hate that happened, dog. You know, I really do, man. 'Cause it took a lot of people's lives, dude. Hate that happen. Probably God. I feel they should, you know, that was wrong, man. It was just wrong, purely wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wish it had never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. Wish it never happened, dude.
That's where things start to get weird, though. In his book, Compton Street Legend, Keffe D described his role in Tupac's death and featured interviews that raised the possibility that he was the criminal. Supporters believe that Tupac is still alive today and that it's a cover-up.